Learn English through story. Hatshepsut. Chapter 1. The Rise of Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut's story begins in the heart of the ancient world. Amidst the splendor of the new kingdom of Egypt, born into the royal lineage of the 18th dynasty, she entered a world steeped in tradition and hierarchy, where the divine right of kingship was reserved for men. Despite being born a princess, Hatshepsut's path to power was fraught with challenges and obstacles. In a society where women were expected to play subservient roles, her ambitions were often met with skepticism and resistance. Yet, it was her indomitable spirit and unwavering determination that set her apart from her peers. From a young age, Hatshepsut exhibited a keen intellect and a thirst for knowledge. Under the tutelage of esteemed scholars and priests, she received a comprehensive education in statecraft, theology, and the arts, while her brothers were groomed for military command and political office. Hatshepsut immersed herself in the study of philosophy and governance, laying the foundation for her future reign. As she ascended to adulthood, Hatshepsut's strategic acumen and political savvy caught the attention of her father, Pharaoh Thutmose, recognizing her potential as a future leader. He took the unprecedented step of appointing her as his co-regent, a decision that would alter the course of Egyptian history forever. With her father's blessing, Hatshepsut embarked on a journey to consolidate her power and assert her authority in a male-dominated world. Through a series of shrewd diplomatic maneuvers and strategic alliances, she solidified her position within the royal court, earning the respect and loyalty of her subjects. But it was her audacious decision to assume the title of Pharaoh that would mark the beginning of her legendary reign, and a bold and unprecedented move. Hatshepsut donned the traditional regalia of kingship and proclaimed herself the sovereign ruler of Egypt, challenging centuries-old traditions and defying the expectations of her detractors. Thus, amidst the whispers of intrigue and the murmurs of dissent, Hatshepsut ascended the throne of Egypt, becoming the first female pharaoh in history. And as the sun rose over the Nile Delta, casting its golden rays upon the land of the pharaohs, a new era dawned, the era of Hatshepsut, the queen pharaoh who would leave an indelible mark on the sands of time. Chapter 2. The Early Years, Childhood and Education. Hatshepsut's formative years were spent amidst the opulence of the royal court, where she was groomed for a life of privilege and power. From a young age, she displayed a remarkable intellect and a thirst for knowledge that set her apart from her peers. Under the guidance of esteemed tutors and scholars, Hatshepsut received a comprehensive education in the arts and sciences of ancient Egypt. She studied the sacred texts of the gods, learned the intricacies of hieroglyphic writing, and delved into the mysteries of astronomy and mathematics. But it was not just academic pursuits that occupied Hatshepsut's time. She was also trained in the martial arts, learning the art of archery, swordsmanship, and chariot racing alongside her brothers. Despite the traditional gender roles of ancient Egyptian society, Hatshepsut refused to be confined to the domestic sphere, eagerly embracing the challenges of physical training and military strategy. As she matured into adolescence, Hatshepsut's ambitions grew ever stronger. She longed to leave her mark on the world, to carve out a legacy that would endure for eternity. But she knew that to achieve her dreams, she would need to navigate the treacherous waters of palace politics and court intrigue with cunning and diplomacy. It was during this time that Hatshepsut forged alliances with powerful figures within the royal court, earning their trust and loyalty through her charm and charisma. She understood the importance of building a network of supporters who would stand by her side in times of crisis, and she spared no effort in cultivating these relationships. But despite her best efforts, Hatshepsut's path to power was not without its challenges. As a woman in a male-dominated society, she faced constant skepticism and opposition from those who doubted her ability to rule. Yet, she refused to be deterred, drawing strength from the legacy of her ancestors and the divine mandate of kingship that flowed through her veins. And so, as the sun set on her childhood years and the dawn of adulthood beckoned on the horizon, Hatshepsut stood ready to seize her destiny and write her name in the annals of history as one of Egypt's greatest rulers. Chapter 3: Ascension to Power, Challenges and Triumphs. Hatshepsut's journey to the throne was fraught with obstacles and challenges, yet her indomitable spirit and unwavering resolve carried her through the darkest of times. With the death of her father, Pharaoh Thutmose I, the path to power lay open before her, but it was far from easy. As the rightful heir to the throne, Hatshepsut faced fierce opposition from her half-brother, Thutmose II, who sought to claim the crown for himself, but she refused to back down, marshalling her supporters and rallying the forces of loyalty to her cause. In a dramatic display of strength and determination, Hatshepsut boldly proclaimed herself the rightful ruler of Egypt, donning the traditional regalia of kingship and ascending the throne as pharaoh. Her coronation sent shockwaves throughout the kingdom, challenging centuries-old traditions and defying the expectations of her detractors. But Hatshepsut's greatest challenge lay in winning the hearts and minds of her people. As the first female pharaoh in history, she faced widespread skepticism and doubt from those who questioned her ability to rule. Yet, through a combination of charm, charisma, and sheer force of will, she gradually won over the hearts of her subjects, earning their respect and admiration. With the support of her people secured, Hatshepsut set about consolidating her power and establishing herself as a formidable ruler. She embarked on a series of ambitious building projects, erecting grand temples and monuments that would stand as a testament to her greatness for centuries to come. But perhaps her greatest triumph came in the field of diplomacy and trade, recognizing the importance of maintaining strong international relations. Hatshepsut brokered trade agreements with neighboring kingdoms and embarked on a series of diplomatic missions to secure Egypt's place as a dominant force in the region. Under her rule, Egypt flourished as never before, enjoying a period of unprecedented peace and prosperity. The economy thrived, the arts flourished, and the people prospered under her benevolent rule. Hatshepsut had proven herself to be not just a capable ruler, but a visionary leader who had transformed Egypt into a true superpower of the ancient world. And as she looked out upon her kingdom, bathed in the golden light of the setting sun, Hatshepsut knew that her legacy would endure for eternity, a shining beacon of hope and inspiration for generations to come. Chapter 4: Building an Empire. Hatshepsut's Architectural Legacy. Hatshepsut's reign is synonymous with grandeur and architectural innovation throughout Egypt. Her legacy endures in the form of magnificent temples, majestic monuments, and sprawling palaces that bear witness to her vision and ambition. One of Hatshepsut's most ambitious projects was the construction of her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari, nestled against the cliffs of the Theban Mountains. Designed by the renowned architect Senenmet, the temple is a masterpiece of ancient Egyptian architecture, with its terraced structure and colonnaded halls standing as a testament to Hatshepsut's greatness, but it was not just her mortuary temple that bore the mark of Hatshepsut's architectural prowess throughout Egypt. She commissioned numerous building projects, from temples and shrines to obelisks and statues, each one a testament to her commitment to the gods and her dedication to the prosperity of her kingdom. One of Hatshepsut's most famous achievements was the construction of the Temple of Karnak in the sacred city of Thebes. Originally built by her predecessors, Hatshepsut undertook extensive renovations and expansions, adding new pylons, chapels, and statues to enhance its grandeur and splendor. But perhaps her most enduring legacy is the obelisks that she commissioned to honor the gods and commemorate her reign. Carved from solid granite and adorned with hieroglyphic inscriptions, these towering monuments stand as a testament to Hatshepsut's power and prestige, reaching towards the heavens in a display of divine reverence. Yet, for all her accomplishments, Hatshepsut's architectural legacy is not without controversy. In recent years, scholars have raised questions about the true extent of her involvement in the building projects attributed to her reign, suggesting that she may have appropriated the achievements of her predecessors for her own glorification. But regardless of the debates and controversies that surround her reign, one thing remains undeniable. Hatshepsut's architectural legacy endures as a testament to her greatness and her enduring impact on the world of ancient Egypt. Chapter 5: The Queen Pharaoh, Unraveling the Myth. Hatshepsut's reign as Egypt's first female pharaoh has long been shrouded in myth and mystery. Throughout the centuries, her story has been embellished with tales of intrigue, romance, and divine intervention, obscuring the truth behind the legend. But who was the real Hatshepsut? Beneath the layers of myth and legend, she emerges as a complex and enigmatic figure, a woman of unparalleled ambition and intelligence, who defied convention to seize power and rule with authority. Born into a world dominated by men, Hatshepsut faced countless obstacles on her path to the throne. Yet, through sheer determination and cunning, she overcame every challenge, ascending to power and establishing herself as one of Egypt's greatest rulers. But it was not just her political acumen that set Hatshepsut apart. Throughout her reign, she demonstrated a deep reverence for the gods and a commitment to the spiritual and cultural traditions of ancient Egypt. She commissioned temples and monuments dedicated to the gods, revived ancient rituals and ceremonies, and fostered a climate of religious tolerance and inclusivity. Yet, despite her many achievements, Hatshepsut's legacy has been overshadowed by the actions of her successors. In the years following her death, her monuments were defaced, her name erased from history, and her memory consigned to oblivion. It was not until centuries later that Hatshepsut's true legacy began to be rediscovered. Archaeologists unearthed her magnificent mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari, revealing the splendor of her reign to the world once more. Scholars pored over ancient texts and inscriptions, piecing together the fragments of her story and shedding new light on her accomplishments. Today, Hatshepsut stands as a symbol of female empowerment and resilience, a woman who defied the odds to achieve greatness in a world dominated by men. Her story serves as a reminder that even in the face of adversity, anything is possible with courage, determination, and vision. As the sands of time continue to shift, and the mysteries of ancient Egypt are slowly unveiled, one thing remains certain: the legacy of Hatshepsut, Egypt's greatest queen pharaoh, will endure for eternity. Chapter 6: Economic prosperity and trade expansion. Under Hatshepsut's rule, Egypt experienced a period of unprecedented economic prosperity and trade expansion. Harnessing the wealth of the Nile River and the resources of the surrounding lands, she transformed Egypt into a thriving economic powerhouse that attracted traders and merchants from across the known world. At the heart of Hatshepsut's economic policies was a commitment to trade and commerce. Recognizing the importance of international relations and economic diplomacy, she established trade routes and diplomatic ties with neighboring kingdoms, opening up new markets and opportunities for Egyptian goods. One of Hatshepsut's most famous trade expeditions was the journey to the land of Punt, a distant kingdom located somewhere along the shores of the Red Sea, led by her trusted vizier, Senenmet. The expedition set sail from the port of Thebes, carrying a wealth of goods and treasures to trade with the people of Punt. The journey to Punt was fraught with peril, as the expedition faced treacherous seas, hostile tribes, and unforgiving terrain. But Hatshepsut's determination and resolve saw them through, and after months of travel, they arrived at their destination. Greeted warmly by the people of Punt, the trade mission to Punt was a resounding success, with the Egyptians returning home laden with exotic spices, precious metals, and exotic animals. The riches brought back from Punt fueled a period of economic growth and prosperity in Egypt, enriching the kingdom and cementing Hatshepsut's reputation as a visionary leader. But it was not just trade with foreign lands that fueled Egypt's economic boom. Hatshepsut also invested heavily in domestic infrastructure projects, improving irrigation systems, expanding agricultural land, and promoting trade and industry within the kingdom. Under her rule, Egypt became a beacon of prosperity and innovation, attracting artisans, craftsmen, and traders from across the known world. The streets of Thebes bustled with activity. Markets overflowed with goods from distant lands, and the economy thrived as never before. And as the wealth of Egypt flowed like the waters of the Nile, Hatshepsut's legacy as a visionary leader and economic reformer was secure. Her reign remembered as a golden age of prosperity and abundance. Chapter 7: Cultural Renaissance, Arts, and Religion under Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut's reign ushered in a golden age of cultural renaissance, where the arts flourished and religious expression reached new heights of creativity and innovation. As a patron of the arts and a devout follower of the ancient Egyptian religion, she sought to honor the gods and preserve the traditions of her ancestors through a variety of cultural initiatives. One of Hatshepsut's most significant contributions to Egyptian culture was her patronage of the arts. Under her rule, artists and artisans thrived, producing masterpieces of sculpture, painting, and architecture that continue to inspire and admiration to this day. At the heart of Hatshepsut's artistic revival was the belief that art had the power to transcend time and space, connecting humanity with the divine and immortalizing the achievements of the pharaohs for eternity. From the grand temples of Karnak to the intricate reliefs of her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari, every work of art commissioned by Hatshepsut was imbued with a sense of reverence and devotion to the gods. But it was not just the visual arts that flourished under Hatshepsut's reign. She also promoted literature, music, and dance, fostering a rich cultural tapestry that celebrated the diversity and creativity of the Egyptian people. Poets penned hymns of praise to the gods. Musicians composed symphonies that echoed through the halls of the temples. and dancers performed rituals and ceremonies that brought the ancient myths to life. Religion also played a central role in Hatshepsut's cultural revival. As a devout follower of the ancient Egyptian religion, she sought to honor the gods and maintain the spiritual traditions of her ancestors through a variety of religious rituals and ceremonies. Temples were erected, statues were carved, and offerings were made to the gods in gratitude for their blessings and protection. But perhaps Hatshepsut's most enduring contribution to Egyptian religion was her role as a divine intermediary between the gods and the people. As pharaoh, she was seen as the earthly embodiment of the gods, entrusted with the sacred duty of maintaining the divine order of the universe and ensuring the prosperity and well-being of the kingdom. And so, under Hatshepsut's enlightened rule, Egypt experienced a cultural renaissance that would leave an indelible mark on the sands of time. Through her patronage of the arts and her devotion to the gods, she elevated Egyptian culture to new heights of greatness, ensuring that her legacy would endure for eternity. Chapter 8: The Expedition to Punt, Uncovering Ancient Treasures. One of the most legendary undertakings of Hatshepsut's reign was her famous expedition to the land of Punt, a distant kingdom shrouded in mystery and myth. Led by her trusted vizier, Senenmet, the expedition set sail from the bustling port of Thebes, embarking on a perilous journey across the Red Sea to the fabled land of Punt. For months, the sailors braved treacherous seas, fierce storms, and unknown dangers as they navigated their way to the distant shores of the mysterious kingdom. But despite the challenges they faced, the expedition was met with success beyond their wildest dreams. Upon reaching the shores of Punt, they were greeted warmly by the inhabitants, who welcomed them with open arms and offered them the treasures of their land. The riches of Punt were unlike anything the Egyptians had ever seen before. From exotic spices and precious metals to rare woods and exotic animals, the treasures of Punt flowed like water, filling the holds of the Egyptian ships to overflowing. But perhaps the greatest treasure of all was the knowledge that the expedition brought back with them. They returned to Egypt laden not just with material wealth, but with a wealth of information about the customs, culture, and traditions of the people of Punt. The expedition to Punt was not just a triumph of diplomacy and trade, it was a triumph of exploration and discovery. It opened up new horizons for the Egyptians, expanding their understanding of the world and enriching their lives in ways they could never have imagined. And as the ships returned to the shores of Egypt, laden with treasures and tales of adventure, the people greeted them with joy and celebration, honoring Hatshepsut as a great pharaoh whose vision and leadership had brought glory to the kingdom. Chapter 9: Political Intrigues and Diplomatic Maneuvers. Behind the grandeur of Hatshepsut's reign lay a complex web of political intrigues and diplomatic maneuvers. As the first female pharaoh in history, she faced constant challenges to her authority from rival factions within the royal court and foreign powers seeking to exploit Egypt's wealth and power. At the heart of Hatshepsut's political strategy was a delicate balancing act between maintaining internal stability and projecting strength externally. She understood the importance of keeping her rivals in check while also cultivating alliances with neighboring kingdoms to ensure Egypt's security and prosperity. One of Hatshepsut's greatest diplomatic achievements was her successful negotiation of a peace treaty with the Kingdom of Mitanni, a powerful rival to the north. Through a combination of diplomacy and military strength, she secured favorable terms that brought an end to decades of conflict and established a lasting peace between the two kingdoms. But Hatshepsut's diplomatic efforts were not limited to the battlefield. She also engaged in a series of trade agreements and cultural exchanges with the kingdoms of the Near East, forging bonds of friendship and cooperation that would strengthen Egypt's position on the world stage. Yet, for all her diplomatic skill, Hatshepsut's reign was not without its challenges. She faced constant opposition from within the royal court, where rival factions vied for power and influence. Intrigue and betrayal were constant threats, and Hatshepsut had to navigate the treacherous waters of palace politics with cunning and guile. But through it all, Hatshepsut remained resolute in her determination to uphold the divine mandate of kingship and protect the interests of her kingdom. She wielded power with wisdom and discretion, earning the respect and loyalty of her subjects and ensuring the stability and prosperity of Egypt for generations to come. And as the years passed and her reign drew to a close, Hatshepsut's legacy as a skilled diplomat and astute politician endured. Her name remembered as one of Egypt's greatest rulers, who had navigated the complexities of power with grace and dignity. Chapter 10: Legacy of Hatshepsut, Impact on Future Dynasties. Hatshepsut's reign left an indelible mark on the history of ancient Egypt, shaping the course of events for centuries to come. Her legacy as Egypt's first female pharaoh, and her achievements in politics, religion, and the arts reverberated throughout the Nile Valley and beyond, influencing future dynasties and shaping the destiny of the kingdom. One of the most enduring legacies of Hatshepsut's reign was her role as a trailblazer for women in positions of power. By successfully ascending to the throne and ruling as pharaoh, she shattered centuries-old traditions and paved the way for future generations of female leaders to follow in her footsteps. But Hatshepsut's impact extended far beyond gender politics. Her reign saw a flourishing of artistic and architectural innovation, with grand temples, majestic monuments, and intricate artworks adorning the landscape of Egypt. These achievements set a new standard for royal patronage and left an indelible mark on the cultural identity of the kingdom. Hatshepsut's diplomatic efforts also had far-reaching consequences, establishing Egypt as a dominant force in the region and securing its place as a center of trade and commerce. Her successful negotiation of peace treaties and trade agreements with neighboring kingdoms laid the foundation for centuries of prosperity and stability. Yet, for all her accomplishments, Hatshepsut's reign was not without controversy. In the years following her death, her monuments were defaced, her name erased from history, and her memory consigned to oblivion by her successors. It was not until centuries later that her true legacy began to be rediscovered and appreciated by scholars and historians. Today, Hatshepsut stands as a symbol of strength, resilience, and leadership, her name synonymous with greatness and achievement. Her reign serves as a reminder that true power lies not in the wielding of a scepter or the wearing of a crown, but in the courage to defy convention and forge one's own path, no matter the obstacles that stand in the way. And as the sands of time continue to shift, and the mysteries of ancient Egypt are slowly unveiled, one thing remains certain: the legacy of Hatshepsut, Egypt's greatest queen pharaoh, will endure for eternity. Chapter 11: The Mystery of Hatshepsut's Death. The circumstances surrounding Hatshepsut's death remain shrouded in mystery, with scholars and historians alike debating the true cause of her demise. While some believe that she died of natural causes, Others speculate that foul play may have been involved, pointing to the political intrigue and power struggles that characterized her reign. One theory suggests that Hatshepsut may have been the victim of a conspiracy orchestrated by her rivals within the royal court. As the first female pharaoh in history, she faced constant opposition from those who doubted her ability to rule, and it is possible that her enemies sought to eliminate her in order to seize power for themselves. Another theory posits that Hatshepsut may have fallen victim to a plot hatched by her own family members, perhaps in a bid to secure the throne for their own descendants. In a kingdom where dynastic succession was of paramount importance, the prospect of a female pharaoh may have been seen as a threat to the stability of the monarchy. Yet, despite the numerous theories and speculations surrounding her death, the truth remains elusive. The lack of concrete evidence and the passage of time have only served to deepen the mystery, leaving historians to piece together fragments of information in an attempt to uncover the truth. Whatever the true cause of Hatshepsut's death may be, one thing is certain: her legacy as one of Egypt's greatest rulers will endure for eternity. From her rise to power to her untimely demise, her life story is a testament to the triumphs and tragedies of the human experience, a reminder that even the most powerful among us are not immune to the whims of fate. Chapter 12: Rediscovery and Archaeological Excavations. Despite the passage of millennia, Hatshepsut's legacy endured, buried beneath the sands of time waiting to be unearthed by future generations. It wasn't until the 19th century that the first inklings of her reign resurfaced, as archaeologists began to explore the ancient ruins of Egypt in search of clues to the kingdom's illustrious past. One of the most significant discoveries came in 1822, when the French Egyptologist Jean-François Champollion deciphered the hieroglyphs on the walls of Hatshepsut's mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari, revealing the story of her remarkable reign to the world. This groundbreaking discovery sparked renewed interest in Hatshepsut and set off a wave of archaeological excavations that continue to this day, as archaeologists unearth the remains of ancient cities, temples, and monuments. They piece together the fragments of Hatshepsut's story, revealing the grandeur and splendor of her reign in vivid detail. From the towering obelisks of Karnak to the intricately carved reliefs of her mortuary temple, each discovery shed new light on the achievements of Egypt's greatest queen pharaoh. But perhaps the most astonishing discovery came in 1903, when the American archaeologist Howard Carter stumbled upon the tomb of Hatshepsut's vizier, Senenmut, in the Valley of the Kings. Inside the tomb, Carter found a wealth of artifacts and inscriptions that provided valuable insights into the inner workings of Hatshepsut's court and the daily life of her subjects. Since then, archaeologists have continued to uncover new evidence of Hatshepsut's reign, piecing together the puzzle of her life and reign with each new discovery. From the treasures of her tomb to the secrets hidden within the walls of her temples, the story of Hatshepsut continues to captivate the imagination of scholars and historians around the world. And as the sands of time continue to shift and new discoveries are made, one thing remains certain: the legacy of Hatshepsut, Egypt's greatest queen pharaoh, will endure for eternity, a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the enduring allure of the ancient world. Chapter 13: Interpretations and Debates. Modern perspectives on Hatshepsut. As archaeologists and historians continue to uncover new evidence about Hatshepsut's reign, interpretations and debates surrounding her legacy have evolved. shaping our understanding of this enigmatic ruler in new and intriguing ways. One of the most hotly debated topics is Hatshepsut's motivations for assuming the title of pharaoh. While some scholars argue that she seized power out of ambition and a desire for personal glory, others suggest that her actions were driven by a sense of duty to her kingdom and a desire to ensure its stability and prosperity. Another point of contention is the nature of Hatshepsut's relationship with her stepson and successor, Thutmose III. While some historians portray their relationship as one of harmony and cooperation, others suggest that there may have been tensions and rivalries between them, particularly during the early years of Hatshepsut's reign. Additionally, the question of Hatshepsut's gender identity has sparked considerable debate among scholars. While she is often portrayed as a strong and assertive ruler, some historians have suggested that she may have struggled with issues of gender identity and faced discrimination and prejudice because of her sex. Yet, despite the disagreements and uncertainties that surround her reign, one thing is clear. Hatshepsut's legacy as one of Egypt's greatest rulers endures, whether viewed as a trailblazer for women in positions of power, a visionary leader who transformed Egypt into a superpower of the ancient world, or a complex and enigmatic figure whose true motivations remain shrouded in mystery. Her story continues to captivate the imagination of scholars and historians around the world, and as new discoveries are made and new perspectives emerge, the story of Hatshepsut will continue to evolve, offering fresh insights into the complexities of power, politics, and identity in the ancient world. Chapter 14: Her Majesty's Enduring Influence. Hatshepsut in popular culture. Hatshepsut's legacy extends beyond the realms of academia and history, permeating popular culture in various forms, from literature to film, music to art. Her influence can be felt across a wide spectrum of creative expression, inspiring artists and storytellers to reimagine her life and reign in new and captivating ways. In literature, Hatshepsut has been the subject of countless novels, biographies, and historical fiction works. Authors have sought to capture the essence of her character, portraying her as a bold and charismatic leader, a tragic figure caught in the machinations of power, or a mysterious and enigmatic queen whose true motivations remain elusive. In film and television, Hatshepsut has been brought to life on the silver screen, portrayed by actresses ranging from the glamorous to the gritty. Whether depicted as a regal and commanding presence, or a complex and conflicted figure, her portrayal in popular media has helped to keep her story alive in the public imagination. In music, Hatshepsut's story has inspired composers and musicians to create evocative and atmospheric works that capture the grandeur and mystique of ancient Egypt. From sweeping orchestral scores to haunting melodies, these musical tributes pay homage to her reign and the enduring legacy she left behind. In art, Hatshepsut's likeness has been immortalized in paintings, sculptures, and other works of visual expression. Artists have sought to capture her beauty, her strength, and her indomitable spirit, creating images that evoke the majesty and power of ancient Egypt. But perhaps the most enduring tribute to Hatshepsut's legacy is the fascination and intrigue that continues to surround her story. From scholarly debates to popular retellings, her reign continues to captivate the imagination of people around the world, ensuring that her memory will endure for generations to come. Chapter 15: Conclusion: Hatshepsut's Enduring Legacy. As we reach the conclusion of our journey through the life and reign of Hatshepsut, it becomes clear that her legacy is as vast and enduring as the sands of the Egyptian desert, from her rise to power as Egypt's first female pharaoh, to her enduring influence on popular culture. Hatshepsut's impact on the world continues to reverberate through the corridors of time. Hatshepsut's reign was a time of unprecedented prosperity, innovation, and cultural flourishing. Through her vision and leadership, Egypt reached new heights of greatness, establishing itself as a dominant force in the ancient world and leaving behind a legacy that would inspire future generations for centuries to come. But perhaps Hatshepsut's greatest legacy lies in her ability to defy convention and challenge the status quo. As a woman in a male-dominated society, she shattered barriers and shattered expectations, proving that gender is no barrier to greatness, and that true power lies in the strength of one's character and the depth of one's convictions. As we reflect on Hatshepsut's life and reign, let us remember her not just as a pharaoh, but as a trailblazer, a visionary, and a symbol of strength and resilience in the face of adversity. Her story serves as a reminder that anything is possible with courage, determination, and a willingness to defy the odds. And so, as we bid farewell to Hatshepsut, let us honor her memory by striving to emulate her example in our own lives. Let us stand up for what we believe in, challenge the norms that seek to confine us, and dare to dream of a future where equality, justice, and freedom reign supreme. For in the end, it is not the monuments we build or the treasures we amass that define our legacy, but the lives we touch and the hearts we inspire along the way. And in that sense, Hatshepsut's legacy will endure for eternity, a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who dare to dream of a better world. Epilogue: Hatshepsut's eternal reign. As the sun sets on our exploration of Hatshepsut's life and reign, her legacy continues to cast a radiant glow across the annals of history. Her name echoes through the corridors of time, whispered in reverence by scholars, artists, and dreamers alike. For Hatshepsut was more than just a pharaoh, she was a visionary, a leader, and a symbol of strength and resilience in the face of adversity. Her reign was a testament to the power of courage, determination, and unwavering conviction, and though the sands of time may have obscured the details of her life, one thing remains clear. Hatshepsut's spirit lives on in the hearts and minds of all who dare to dream of a better world. Her legacy endures as a beacon of hope and inspiration, guiding us forward on our journey through the ages. So let us raise our voices in celebration of Hatshepsut, Egypt's greatest queen pharaoh, whose name will be remembered for eternity. May her memory continue to inspire us, empower us, and remind us of the boundless potential that lies within each and every one of us. For as long as there are stars in the sky, and rivers flow through the Nile, the legacy of Hatshepsut will shine brightly, illuminating the path for future generations to follow in her footsteps. And in that eternal reign, her greatness will know no bounds. Thanks for watching.